She said, "I twisted my ankle. Can you carry me?" I replied, "Only if you let me take you home." The moment she said, "I twisted my ankle, can you carry me?" I thought it was just another small, ordinary moment in an ordinary day. But sometimes life hides its biggest turning points inside the smallest requests. I looked at her for a second, noticing the way she tried to stay strong even while sitting on the wooden steps, her eyes quietly asking for help without wanting to seem helpless. And without really thinking, I replied softly, "Only if you let me take you home." I had no idea that this simple sentence would begin a story that would change both of our lives forever. Before we begin this emotional journey, take a second to like the video, leave a comment, share this story with someone you care about, and subscribe to the channel if you believe that kindness and second chances can truly change lives. Because sometimes the smallest act of kindness becomes the beginning of the biggest miracle. It was late afternoon when I first saw her sitting there on the wooden porch outside a quiet cabin near the hiking trail. The sun was slowly dropping behind the trees, painting everything in warm golden light. I had come there to clear my mind, like I did every weekend. Life hadn't been kind to me recently. After losing my job a few months earlier and watching my long-term relationship fall apart soon after, the world had started to feel heavy and quiet. Hiking had become my escape. It was the only place where the noise in my head would finally calm down. That day I had just finished the trail and was heading back when I noticed her sitting there, holding her ankle carefully, trying to pretend she wasn't in pain. Her dark hair rested over her shoulders, and her face carried that quiet kind of sadness that only people who have been through something difficult seem to have. I asked if she was okay, and she gave a small, embarrassed smile before explaining that she had slipped on the trail and twisted her ankle pretty badly. She said she thought she could walk it off, but after trying to stand a few times, she realized she couldn't. There was no panic in her voice, just that calm acceptance people sometimes show when life gives them another unexpected problem. For a moment, I stood there unsure of what to do, but something inside me wouldn't let me just walk away. Maybe it was because I knew what it felt like to struggle alone. Maybe it was because I had spent months wishing someone would show up and help me when I needed it. So when she asked if I could carry her down to the parking area, I nodded and knelt beside her. She hesitated, clearly not wanting to be a burden, but pain finally convinced her to accept. As I carefully lifted her into my arms, she laughed softly in embarrassment, apologizing more than once. The path down the hill wasn't very long, but it was uneven and slow. During those few minutes, something unexpected happened. We started talking. At first it was small things, like how long we had been hiking and how beautiful the weather had been that day. But gradually, the conversation became more personal. She told me her name was Emma and that she had recently moved to the area after leaving behind a difficult chapter in her life. She didn't explain everything, but I could hear the weight behind her words. It was the same kind of quiet pain I had been carrying myself. By the time we reached the parking lot, I realized neither of us had noticed how quickly the time had passed. I gently set her down on the edge of the bench near the cars, but when she tried to stand again, the pain in her ankle was worse than before. That's when I told her I would drive her home if she was comfortable with it. For a second, she studied my face carefully, like she was trying to decide whether she could trust me. Trust is a strange thing. It takes months or even years to build, but sometimes it begins with a single moment. Finally, she nodded. Her home was only 10 minutes away, a small rented house surrounded by tall trees. When we arrived, I helped her inside and made sure she had ice for her ankle. She thanked me more times than I could count, but strangely it didn't feel like I had done anything special. It felt natural, almost like helping her had somehow helped me too. Over the next few weeks, something unexpected happened. Emma and I stayed in touch. At first, it was just short messages asking how her ankle was healing. Then it became longer conversations. Eventually, we started meeting for coffee or small walks once she recovered. Slowly, without either of us planning it, we began sharing more of our stories. She told me about the relationship she had escaped from, one that slowly drained her confidence and made her feel invisible. Leaving had been one of the hardest things she had ever done, but it had also been the bravest. I told her about losing my job and how it had shaken my sense of purpose. For months, I had felt like I was standing still while the rest of the world kept moving forward. Somehow, talking with her made everything feel lighter. She listened in a way that most people don't, not with quick advice or empty encouragement, but with real attention. Days turned into weeks, and weeks slowly became months. The strange thing was that neither of us was trying to change the other person's life. We were simply showing up for each other. Some evenings we would sit outside her small house, watching the sun disappear behind the trees. Other days we would return to the same hiking trail where we first met. Each time we walked that path, she joked about how embarrassing it had been to ask a stranger to carry her.